You know what frustrates the hell out of me, Dad? And we noticed this last season as well, even in League One, right? We're so lacking in ideas going forward and being dynamic and running with the ball, right? We can break the press. We can do a few little bits of build-up play. We get the ball in brilliant positions. And then we slow it down so drastically. Swansea are able to get 8 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And myself and Dad have literally just got in the studio off the back of that 1-1 draw away at Swansea. Now, it wasn't a perfect performance, but when you consider some of the post-match videos we've been doing recently from our away games, there were some little things that we can hold on to, especially when you consider Swansea are 4 unbeaten games at home in the league. We'll certainly take that point and move on. So, Dad, the general consensus, and I do agree with this, it was kind of a game of two halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We got a point, Matt, away. You know, the last point we got away was West Bromwich Albion back in November. So that's the positives. And it was we were more positive than we have. I mean, let's be honest. We're starting from a very low base point. I'm talking Watford, Sheffield United, Queen's Park Rangers. Awful performances and others as well. So if you compare the games to that, you can't really say that they were like that. But we were better. There was more effort. But I think it just shows you really how threadbare our squad is really. When you look at the bench, all the youngsters on there. You look at the positions and, some of the players that we have in this team now. And I think the positive we can take from that, yes, it is a point. But it's a game that we had chances, but we could have easily lost that game 3 or 4-1 as well on another day. They hit the woodwork a couple of 3 times, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's nice to come away with a point, to be honest. It's nice to drive home, isn't it, and have a point from that than what we've had before. But it still shows there's a lot of work to do in that team.
I think one of the things that a lot of Blues fans picked up on, Dad, is when the team got announced, immediate attention went to the bench.
Yeah.
The bench was the weakest I've known a Blues bench for a few years now.
Do you want me to read the bench out?
Go for it,
This is the bench for Birmingham City. Alsop, Samstead, Burrell, Maswi, Ishii, Williamson, Scott Wright, Fujimoto and Stansfield.
Yeah.
There's all those youngsters on there and players that you would argue are not first team choices.
Yeah. But it really highlighted, Dad, how thin on the ground we are. We need to get some players in. And also, Dad, I think we're carrying a few passengers. I think we look a bit stale, dare I say it. I think we need some energy. We need some fresh faces. I think we need like an injection of energy into the squad, into the team, don't we? As I said, we look a bit flat. I mean, when we take the ball past the halfway line, we look a bit clueless, don't we? I mean, we did have a few chances. I think I made that point very deliberately. It was a game of two halves. In the second half, we did come at them a little bit more. We did create a few chances. But even still, when we take the ball past the halfway line, it looks clunky. We're a little bit stale, a little bit clueless, and we don't really look like we know how to really go at teams, do we? We've not really mastered that away from home this season, and a little bit disappointing in that regard. But I think first half, Dad, we were lucky to go in 1-0 down, really, especially on reflection after the game of the chances that Swansea did have. And as I said, the second half we were a little bit better. But I think Swansea had done their homework on us, hadn't they?
Yeah,
in the first half. They were going very direct. And I said in the pre-video, Swansea are renowned for being like a bit of a football inside. Their managers came in. He's known historically to have that possession-based football. But actually, Vipotnik, they were just lumping it up to him, weren't they?
Yeah.
And, it was a good battle between Vipotnik, Neumann and Clara.
Yep.
I thought they had little spells in the game of having the better of each other, but they were going very direct. It was clear to see from early on in the game, weren't they?
Because, like you said, they've done their homework, and that's what teams will do. They will expose your vulnerabilities, and they would have seen in previous games. Like that goal we conceded against Watford, they just hoofed the first goal, just lumped over the top, and then just ran through and scored. And they've tried that a few times here, so teams will do that. And I thought in parts we defended fairly well, and we did look to have a decent shape. But it's like it's going forward. I mean, firstly, we're still making silly mistakes at the back. We keep giving the ball away. Doyle gave the ball away a few times in quite dangerous positions today. Although I would say I'd counter that by saying his corners cause problems every time, don't they? Virtually. So he needs to improve that because you can't get caught in possession like that. But we're making silly mistakes again still. and we're not. There's something wrong up front for me. I mean, I don't know what it is. We don't look dynamic. We don't look like, we're making the right choices. And what's this like lumping the ball? And I'm not blaming Beadle for this. I think he's been told to do this. Kicking the ball high to Kyogo.
Yeah, it makes no sense, Dad.
The ball just comes straight back to us. You may as well not do it because he's not going to win the ball.
No. And the second person you'd think about that would be Dux, but he doesn't win the ball either because his feet are glued to the ground. He never really jumps for a challenge. He's a bit more of a technical-minded player. He's not, when you think of Lyndon Dykes, Yuki, the players that we historically have had who give you that physical presence, we don't have that. Swansea had that with Vipotnik. Yeah. He's a solid player. He holds it up. He wins the ball. And, we don't have that. No. So what is the point in Beadle lumping it up to Kyogo, Dux, even if you go wide, Patrick Roberts, Kumas? Yeah. We have no height. There is absolutely no point in lumping it up. Yeah. You basically give it straight back to Swansea. Yeah. And we did that several times in the first half especially. Yeah.
I mean, I think this result is, on the back of our last league game when we beat Coventry 3-2, this is an away point, so it all helps. But I think it's just a plaster patch, really, over a bigger problem. We might think, we haven't lost. But realistically, in real terms, did we really look like winning this game? Could we think about the chances they had? We had other chances as well. We'll talk about a couple of them. I don't want to go for the whole game because obviously we'll be here quite a long time. But we'll talk about some of the key chances in a moment. But did we absolutely look like we were ever going to really win that game? And I'd probably argue on the balance of chances, probably not. But
I felt like there was like a 5 or 10 minute spell in the second half, which isn't good enough. Yeah, I'm not saying that you need to hold on to that and give us hope that we're going to win the game. In the second half, we did look a bit better after the goal for sure. But yeah, I think, as I said, Dad, it's that final touch, that final pass, that final decision is just off, isn't it? Yeah. We noticed it when we did have the ball and we did create chances. Dux took an extra touch instead of shooting. Yeah. Stansfield, when he did come on, made the wrong pass. That final decision in the final third's off, isn't it?
Although I would suggest that the game changed for the better when Stansfield came on.
Yeah, agreed.
I think we looked more positive, more direct, more dynamic when he came on. I mean, we weren't perfect, but he was a lot better when he came on because he gives you that energy and directness, doesn't he? It went off for Kyogo, didn't he? Came off for Kyogo, sorry. But I just feel that we were better in the second half, and we can play some decent football. But teams close us down quite quickly as that's just the nature of football, and we've got to be better at retaining the ball and cutting out these silly mistakes. But we always look vulnerable at the back. That's what worries me the most. If you've got a solid back line and you're conceding very few goals, you've always got half a chance. But once again, we conceded a goal, this time in 21 minutes.
It weren't the first 10 minutes.
It wasn't the usual, first 10 minutes, but 21 minutes. And realistically, that was, they did very little before. They had one half chance before that. Yeah. But again, it was a goal that they scored where Wagner, who I don't think had a good game at all, if I'm honest, he was great in his first game against Coventry, but I think in this game, it shown that he's got a lot of adjusting to do to this league. I think he instead of going to the ball, he waited and the player nipped in front of him. I don't know who it was. Knocked it across. And it was a good finish by Vipotnik. But then you think to yourself, well, how's Vipotnik in that position where we haven't got one of our players intercepting or challenging?
Well, we were caught out of shape, weren't we, because of Wagner making the mistake. I think we were scrambling then, weren't we? Yeah. And then when you scramble, that's when your positioning gets a bit wonky. He's put it across. As a decent finish. Beadle almost saved it, kind of got a nick on it through his foot. Yeah. And Beadle did make a couple of good saves in this game. But yeah, he almost saved it. But from our point of view, Dad, we go 1-0 down, 20 minutes in. I don't know how other Blues fans feel about this, but when we're away from home and we go a goal down, I never feel like we're going to win that game. I feel like I wouldn't be so pessimistic as to say it's game over, because of course we did end up drawing the game 1-1. But I always feel like it's too big a mountain to climb for Blues, going a goal down away from home. I don't feel like we're ever going to win it, because when do we ever score many goals away from home? We just don't, do we? Yeah. Normally one goal away from home on average, probably, and 2 max. It's such a mountain to climb when we go down 1 goal early. It's so disappointing, especially when you concede like that to a mistake.
Well, to be honest with you, Matt, when we're driving to Swansea, we're not going there with any expectations, really, because of our current away form and what we've seen in previous away games. I don't think any Blues fan was going there expecting us to win that game, really. I mean, the hopeful ones, I'm sure there's a few out there that would think, this is the game, we're going to turn it around. I predicted a win, thinking that at some point we've got to change our away form. But I just don't think we've got the squad at the moment, that we need. I think that the January transfer window has a couple of weeks left in it. Obviously, we've brought in Solis now, so he should add a bit of physicalness in that midfield. But there's still a lot of you mentioned passengers, and I think that's important. In my opinion, and Blues fans may or may not disagree with it, Kyogo, Kumas and Williamson, they're not the players to take us where we want to be. They're not. They're, with the best within the world. That's not me picking on them. I'm making my opinion based upon what I've seen. They're not the quality to get us to where we need to be, and I think those type of players, they're the ones that need to be replaced, I think. But and I'm sure there's others as well, but they're the main ones for me. I looked at that team today, and you can't really blame Williamson in this game. He came on for the last 15, 20 minutes. I'm not saying it was his fault in this game, but there's definitely passengers.
You know what frustrates the hell out of me, Dad? And we noticed this last season as well, even in League One, right? We're so lacking in ideas going forward and being dynamic and running with the ball, right? We can break the press, we can do a few little bits of build-up play, we get the ball in brilliant positions, and then we slow it down so drastically. Swansea are able to get 8 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Awata
on the right-hand side, Dad. He had so many chances today to drive with the ball. And Awata isn't really a drive-on-the-ball kind of player, so maybe I'm doing a little bit of disservice, really, by this comment. But you want someone in that position who's going to get the ball, drive at their man. But no, he gets it. And by the way, I'm not singling out Awata. They were all doing it, and we've done it for a season and a half now. They get the ball, they stop, back to Allsop, back to Beadle, sorry. And it's like, oh my word, boys. If you want to score goals at this level, you have to bend teams out of shape, create gaps, and go at them. You're never, ever, ever going to score many goals in this division by allowing teams to get back in their defensive shape. Yeah, it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's where we get frustrated as fans, where we see ourselves break, and then for some reason we end up playing the ball backwards or sideways, and then we can't go any further. Now we've suddenly got a brick wall in front of us.
Exactly.
And that's where you score your goals, when you take advantage of the break. You break through their lines. But a couple of occasions we've broken or made passes, and it's just the wrong choices, and that's where we need to get better as well. I mean, Swansea have a fair few chances. I mean, Ji Sung, one of their forwards, he's a wide player, isn't he? Yeah, winger. Yeah. He had the real first chance as well. He's quite close, and where Neumann sprinted back and just blocked him, and that went out for a corner. Then we had Kumas, who put a cross in, and then provided a chance for Marvin Duksh.
That's when he took a touch, and he should have shot.
Took a touch too many, and he just basically, it was blocked by Fullerton, and then the Swansea goal we've spoken about already. I mean, that goal is a goal that we should not be conceding. And again, if you concede goals like we did at that point in time, it's always going to be a mountain to climb. But it's disappointing again that we had at that point the game was fairly evenly balanced. We did all right at the beginning, I thought, in terms of we had a go. I do think as much as we are talking about this game as being not fantastic, compared to the other away games that we've seen, we were more on the front foot and more of a threat this time. Although we only had one shot on target, and that was the goal.
But as you said, that the bar is so low. It's pretty bad when that performance looks okay. Because of the recent away form we've been having, especially the later half of last year, when this performance looks like it was decent, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. I agree, Dad. There were some positives to take in terms of where we have been away from home, but we're still nowhere near it. No way near it.
I mean, they have plenty of chances as well. We always look vulnerable. It worries me at the back every time that a team come forward or cross the ball or have a corner. Every time. I mean, they scored their goal, and they had another chance not long after. I think Franco, a good passing move from Swansea, actually. Franco shot it, and it was fingertip save from Beadle. I think he just knocked it onto the bar.
That was a good save.
Yeah, really good save, yeah.
Patrick Roberts had a chance as well, Dad, on his left foot. Came across him and he stuck it over the bar. I think he was really frustrated with himself with that, because normally he's quite a calm, collected player with good technique, isn't he?
I thought with that, and so basically Kumas crossed that to Roberts and he knocked it over the bar. I wonder if Kyogo is a better choice when you look, because he obviously played the ball backwards. If he'd have played it horizontally, Kyogo was in. So again,
would you trust Kyogo?
Well, and again, going on to Kyogo as well, he had that chance where Awata just before half time pinged that ball at pace across. And he was running towards it. I mean, it was a difficult one, and as it came at pace, but a top striker would be scoring that, and he didn't. So we went in at half time. Came out second half again. Kyogo, had another chance from Wagner's cross in the second half, but he only basically hit his knee, didn't he? and that didn't go in. And then Swansea had another chance in the 56th minute when they hit the outside of the post. That was from Ronald. And then Stansfield was introduced as well. I thought the game changed. Obviously, Kyogo was substituted, and we got our goal. And I wouldn't say we didn't deserve a goal because we had chances. And this goal, I thought at the time, we obviously needed that goal and was deserved. And where Dutch passed it to Roberts, didn't I think Wagner supplied it and a little flick on from Dutch, and then Roberts did very well, didn't he?
We got a little bit of luck in the build up to the goal, didn't we? A little few touches, it was dropping for us because we've had those games before where the ball just doesn't drop. It's not your day and you can feel it. And actually, we managed to get a bit of a decent bit of luck in certain parts of that. And sometimes you need that in football. And actually, they had a great finish by Patrick Roberts. Off the underside of the bar and in the back of the net.
Swansea had a chance after that, didn't they? Where was it? Liam Cullen headed it onto the bar towards the end of the game. He ended up finishing 1-1, and
the more you talk about the chances in the game, actually Swansea had a fair few decent chances, didn't they?
They did, and as well, I looked at the highlights in the car on the way back in terms of and it didn't show all of our chances. We had half chances, but they had by far better chances.
Take the point though, Dad.
We have to take the point, and it's a good point, and it's an away point. But again, I still think it's papering over the cracks, and I think that the recruitment team have got a massive job to do in the next couple of weeks to get that squad anywhere near really competitive. Because if we don't strengthen in certain areas, I know that Chris Davis has said what we need. We definitely need a left-sided centre half because obviously Cashin had gone. He scored an own goal today, by the way.
After 3 minutes.
Yeah, somebody commented, didn't they, as well? He's only been there 3 minutes. He's already scored more goals in the league than Kyogo. But we do need some real surgery on this squad.
We need depth.
And
we need fresh faces. Dad, as I said earlier in the podcast, we feel stale. And we need fresh energy. We need some pace. We need some electric pace. We need some energy. I think we need a bit of depth all over the squad at the minute. It could be only because we're letting players go at the same time. I'm already thin on the ground. So,
one question I want to ask you. I'm just conscious of time before we finish, Matt. This is an interesting question. We know that Solis has now joined us on loan from Girona. He's a competitive, physical, defensive midfielder. But where does he fit into the squad? Because it means if Chris Davis continues with his normal 4-2-3-1 formation, if he comes into the squad, it means you've either got to take Doyle or Paik out. Some people were talking about why not have a 3-5-2, so play 3 in the middle, 3 centre halves with 2 wing backs and 2 up front, and then you could accommodate all of them. So you could accommodate in that Paik, Solis, and Doyle, and have 2 wing backs, 3 centre halves at the back. So those 2 wing backs would effectively come back into a back 5 when we're off the ball, and they'll be attacking, and then you've got 2 up front. I think that makes perfect sense, but I'm just wondering whether Chris Davis is going to adapt his formation.
I don't mean to shut you down immediately, but he ain't changing. He's sticking to a 4-2-3-1.
Don't you think if he may feel if he gets the players, he might be able to change formation?
He's admitted before he has the players to change a formation, and he didn't do it then, but I don't think he'll do it now. The one thing we haven't seen from Chris Davies is willingness to change.
Because that formation, 3-5-2 as well, so would also negate the need for us to have a number 10 because we'd have three central midfielders, 2 wingers and 2 forwards. We wouldn't need to worry about this mythical, wonderful number 10 because they wouldn't be needed anymore in that formation.
You're preaching to the choir, Dad.
It'd be interesting to see what the Blues fans think about that. But again, of course, it's irrelevant because obviously what matters is what Chris Davis thinks.
Why can't we play 4-2-3-1 at home where we were a bit more progressive and front-footed and go 3-5-2 away from home? So we're just a little bit more cautious.
I think we'd be more dynamic at 3-5-2. But
I agree.
But I don't. I agree.
I don't see him changing, Dad.
I don't see it changing. But
you know what, Dad? Just coming back to the game because I guess we could lead that conversation into another podcast. But I think I don't want to commit players into positions when I haven't even seen them play a minute of football. Solis, we haven't seen him yet. But let's just say he comes in and he's everything we want in terms of that aggression, that height, that physicality, whatever we want. he has to be in there because of it gives us something we don't have.
Yeah.
And we do get bullied in the centre of the park quite a lot, so we need someone like that. But let's see what Chris Davies does, Dad. I'm just going to conclude. I'll hand it back to you in a minute for final thoughts. 1-1, a solid point on the road. Hard fought in the end. We take it. We move on to Sheffield Wednesday, away on the Tuesday, Dad. And not a perfect performance by any stretch. Little niggles of positives in there. But overall, Dad, nowhere near a squad deep enough to do any challenges this season. We need to get some players in, and we need to improve how we go at teams in the final third. It's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more I can add to that. I completely agree with everything you said. You know, we do need... I do think these 2 weeks left of this transfer window are so important now for how we develop as a squad. And, you know, our recruitment team really need to, you know, add depth to our squad, because these games are showing that we're significantly lacking in certain positions.
Exactly, yeah. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Maybe you're a Swansea supporter, you're at the game, maybe you watched it. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. And if you did like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can watch or listen to us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.